everyone. I thought I would let you all know a bit about our new Pope Leo. I think it's quite fascinating. Even if you don't know a lot about astrology, if you look over here on this grid, you see it's pretty empty. There's not a lot going on here. This is a very, very rare human. He is pretty elevated and cruising at a completely different altitude than most of us. He doesn't really have a lot of the inner turmoil that many of us karmically have inside of our charts and into our personalities. That's not to say he hasn't had some difficult things happen to him, because he still is human, but he's about as close as you can get to a person who is operating at a different frequency and at a different level, which is fantastic because he can rise above and do things that us mere mortals tied down by ancestral muck or trauma or whatever. He doesn't have that in this lifetime. He's a very intense person because his moon in Virgo is right next to Pluto, and that makes him very deep and emotionally caring. That's a nice aspect to have. This is not a superficial guy who's not empathetic. And I would imagine that he's very good at dealing with difficulties or conflict or anything that many of us might melt under. He will be fine at handling it. His Mercury is in Libra, which is a beautiful placement. He's a fair, balanced thinker. And it's sextile Jupiter, which means he actually has a good sense of humor and is pleasant and easy to talk to. His sun is in Virgo next to Venus. So he's got 4 planets in Virgo. That's a very earthy, practical, grounded individual with strong feminine energy in a way because of the sun being so close to his Venus and because the 4 planets are all in Virgo, which is the female virgin, which is a more feminine zodiac sign. So really the only intense aspect he has is the Moon-Pluto conjunction, which is not a bad thing to have at all for someone who's got his position, because you want him to be deep thinking and soulful, which he definitely is. The other thing that's super curious about his chart is that his Mars is very much feral, meaning he's very independent and likes doing things the way he likes to do them. And he's a very organized, methodical person. I heard on the news, by the way, that when he was a little boy, when the other kids were playing with trucks and Legos, he was pretending to be a priest and giving out Holy Communion using Necco wafers. And I'm actually not at all surprised about that because, as I said, he's a very deeply intense man who's designed for something otherworldly. He's not on this earth plane like many of us are, which I think is fantastic. I think what a gift for this planet and this time to have a person like this. I also looked at his transits. When he was elected to be Pope, Uranus was right here opposite his ascendant. So out of the blue, I don't think he was expecting to be picked, but all of a sudden he's in the spotlight and now one of the most famous people in the world. How bizarre to go from pretty much no one knowing him that well to having the whole world know we have a new Pope, and it's him, an American of all things. He does have a couple of aspects right now that indicate there are some people who are against him. And that's always going to be the case when you have power. You're always going to have people who want to come against you. But I think if there's anyone on earth who can handle any sorts of conflicts, it would be this guy. So that's my take on the Pope. I would say we're very, very lucky to have him. And he's young, and he's only in his late 60s. So he could be around for a long time. And let's hope that that's the case. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you want to learn more about the astrology work I do, you can check me out at lesliemcguirk.com. Okay, thanks.